The new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros are here and we need to talk about them. Let's do it. At Apple's Unleashed event, the company announced the long-awaited pro-level notebooks that are powered by Apple Silicon in the new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros. There's a lot to these new machines, which I'll get into in the full review, so be sure you're subscribed for that. But in the meantime, let's talk about the top 5 features that you need to know about, starting with the design. First, ports are back. Ports, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the return of the SD card slot, which is something every creative professional who I know uses. The return of HDMI, which is something I rarely use, but in corporate environments is a must-have for presentations. The return of MagSafe, which supports fast charging the MacBook Pro, giving you 50% charge in 30 minutes. A 3.5mm headphone jack that now includes advanced support for high-impedance headphones, and 3 USB-C ports that are now Thunderbolt 4. So yes, I say again, ports are back, but that's not all. The Magic Keyboard sees changes too, with the removal of the touch bar, which has been replaced with full-size function keys, including a key for quick toggling, do not disturb. And there's even a 1080p FaceTime camera now, which I'm mentioning in the design portion of the video because I've already seen people talking about the cutout in the display. This is how Apple made the borders at the top thinner, by wrapping it around the camera module. But speaking of that display, let's talk about it. This is a massive leap in display tech. There are 2 sizes of the new MacBook Pro. 14.2 inches with a 3024 by 1964 resolution, and 16.2 inches at a 3456 by 2234 resolution. Both sizes use the same mini LED technology that Apple shipped on the latest iPad Pro, offering much better local dimming when compared to the previous LED displays. Both models also have ProMotion displays, which allow for adaptive refresh rates up to 120 Hz. They'll automatically adjust based on what you're doing. So if you're scrolling or playing a game, you can expect the refresh rate to increase, but if you're reading a static document, the refresh rate will imperceptibly drop, which is a bonus for your battery life. It'll also offer the option for users to set locked-in refresh rates, which is important for video editing or other use cases that rely on specific screen settings. Now, these mini LED screens are brighter, putting out 1,000 nits of sustained brightness with 1,600 nits peak brightness for HDR content. For reference, the previous MacBook Pro topped out at 500 nits. They also use the same liquid retina XDR that Apple uses for its Pro Display XDR monitor, like the one I have here. Seriously, there's a lot upgraded on the MacBook Pro, but the display might be the most impressive change. Okay, now before we talk about the insane performance gains of the new MacBook Pro, I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, SanDisk. Now, like I said a couple of minutes ago, ports are back on the MacBook Pro, and the most important one for creators is gonna be that SD card slot. And I've been using SanDisk SD cards in all of my devices since 2006. I'm talking about in my Nintendo Switch, in my audio recorder for the Geared Up podcast, and of course, in my camera that I shoot all my videos on. Now, in particular, I'm using SanDisk UHS 2 cards since they're designed to capture in high speed and can record in up to 8K, which is great for me since I record my videos in 6K resolution. Once I'm ready to transfer files over, rather than using a dongle, I can now simply insert the SD card directly into the MacBook Pro, and this SanDisk Extreme Pro SDXC card in particular supports transfer speeds up to 300 megabytes per second. Capacities start at 32 gigabytes and go all the way up to 128 gigabytes for the UHS 2 cards, giving you plenty of room for all of your photos and videos. Oh, and as a bonus, SanDisk Extreme Pro SD cards are shockproof, temperature-proof, waterproof, and X-ray proof, so durability isn't an issue at all. If you're looking to pick up new SD cards for your workflow, I'll leave a link down in the description below to SanDisk Extreme Pro cards. Once again, big thank you to SanDisk for sponsoring this video. Up next, let's talk about performance. Apple Silicon is out here shining. Apple introduced the two most powerful chips it's ever created in the M1 Pro and M1 Max, more powerful versions of the M1 that we saw launch last fall as part of the initial wave of entry-level Apple Silicon Macs. The M1 Pro and M1 Max, on the other hand, are the chips that Apple is using to power its high-end devices, like the new MacBook Pro, thanks to the tremendous leap in performance found on these chips. For the M1 Pro, you'll be getting 70% better CPU performance and 2 times the graphic performance when compared to the M1, thanks to the 10-core CPU with 8 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores and 16-core GPU. The M1 Pro also supports more RAM, topping out at 32 gigs. Then there's the M1 Max, which is even more powerful. It has the same 10-core CPU configuration, but the GPU can go up to 32 cores, 4 times the performance of the M1 and double the performance of the M1 Pro. This chip also supports up to 64 gigabytes of RAM and supports up to 4 external displays. What's crazy here is that the M1 itself is still a great chip, beating a lot of the industry already. And now Apple is destroying that same chip with its own higher end versions. Up next, one of the most impressive stats, and I think everyone using the new MacBook Pro will appreciate, the greatly increased battery life. The dream is to be able to carry around your laptop without having to worry about also bringing the charger with you everywhere you go. This is how it was with the M1 MacBook Air and Pro, with unbelievable battery life. Now Apple is dropping the pro level computers, and there are some big gains to be seen here as well. Now, according to Apple, the 14-inch MacBook Pro gets up to 11 hours of wireless web browsing and 17 hours of battery life when watching video content, while the 16-inch model gets up to 14 hours of wireless web browsing and 21 hours of video playback. Now, obviously, we all do other things with our computers, but this is tremendous. Like the performance claims I mentioned a minute ago, I'll have to test this in the real world to see if these batteries live up to these claims. But if they do, this is a big game changer. Next, we need to talk about sound. The 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro include an upgraded high-fidelity 6-speaker sound system with force-canceling woofers and wide stereo sound, along with a studio quality 3 microphone array with a high signal to noise ratio and directional beamforming. Apple has been at the top of the computational audio game, in my opinion, as we've seen the company do some amazing things with the sound coming from AirPods, the iPhone and iPad built-in speakers, and the previous generation MacBook Pro. You'll hear 80% more bass and notes that are up to half an octave deeper than the previous generation. The speaker array also supports spatial audio when playing music or video with Dolby Atmos, and I'm excited to hear how that sounds coming from the speakers themselves. The 3.5mm headphone jack now offers support for high-impedance headphones. High-impedance headphones are also known as studio headphones, and they tend to be more expensive than standard audio equipment. The reason that you want high impedance is that it gives the device, in this case the MacBook Pro, more control over the audio signal you get. So high impedance models from brands like Sennheiser and Beyerdynamic will offer better sound quality on these new MacBook Pros, which is great for anyone who wants to use them with studio quality headphones. That's the new MacBook Pro, powered by the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips. Let me know if you're excited about this one, or if there's anything you think that Apple happened to leave out. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andru Ebers, and I will catch you in the next video.